Okay, so let's start. First, we'll discuss pumping lemma, and then we'll discuss NFA to DFA, and then in the time remaining, we'll do however many CFG questions we can. So I've been told that you have not done CNF, Chomsky normal form yet. So I'm just going to practice CFGs normally, like how to make CFGs, how to identify CFGs, and how to identify their strings and their languages. Is there any questions before we begin? If there's no questions, let's begin. Uh, Also, the meeting will end at 7:30 or 7:40 as it's a 40-minute time limit. So you will have to rejoin. I will send the new link on LMS and WhatsApp. So let's begin. First of all, pumping lemma. Let's discuss what pumping lemma is. Pumping lemma is the way we prove languages if they are regular or not regular. So the steps to use pumping lemma is the first step is always, for example, if we have a language, like for example, the famous language 0n, 1n. So we know it's not a regular language because we cannot make a finite automata for it. Like if, for example, if I'm trying to make a DFA, I cannot count how many zeros I got in the first place to copy that number of ones. We can do this in a Turing machine that you will study ahead, but we cannot do it in a DFA or an NFA. For example, if I had told you that n was lesser than 5 and n is greater than equals to 0. So now you could make it because if I have like, if this is the start state, so I have 0 and then I have 0 again. For example, if this is 3, just for this example. So I know that their maximum, there can only be maximum there can only be two zeros. Or minimum is zero zeros. So however many zeros I have, I will have that many ones. So if, for example, if I have maximum of two zeros, then I will wait. This will be an accepting state because however many if I have zero zeros, then I also have zero ones. But as soon as I get the first zero, I will wait for the first one and I will accept this. But as soon as I get the second zero, I will wait for the second one. I will wait for the second one, and now this is my accepting state. But because I know that n cannot be more than 2, n has to be lesser than 3, it cannot be more than 2. So the only strings it would accept is epsilon, 0, 1, and 0, 0, 1, 1. So yes, I have made a finite automaton. But this is only for a specific n. If n is more, n is infinite, n is star, n can be however many. So we cannot make a finite automata for this. So first things first is pumping lemma is used to prove languages are not regular. Sorry, okay. Are not regular. It is not used to prove something is regular. The pumping lemma statement, I think, if you have it, I don't have it at the moment, but the pumping lemma statement says that if A is a regular language, then pumping lemma will be proof for it. So if pumping lemma is not proving for it, then it means that this is not a regular language. So we cannot use pumping lemma to prove something is regular. We will always use it to prove it is not regular. So what are the steps to prove something is regular? So for example, if we take this example 0n 1n, where n is greater than equals to 0, and the language sigma is equals to 0, comma 1. So the steps to prove this is not regular. So if, for example, we have a question, prove this is not regular. So to prove that this is not regular, we will use the steps that first, our step one always should be that we will do a proof by we will first try and identify if we can make a DFA or an NFA. Now, how do we identify if we can make a DFA or if we cannot make a DFA? If it has some kind of length check and if it has some kind of count check, then it cannot be a DFA or an NFA. It is not regular. This is your first step. Your second step is that you will write in your proof that now we are doing a proof by contradiction. A proof by contradiction means, if anyone gets stuck at any place, please stop me. So a proof by contradiction means that we are, yes. Did someone stop me? Okay. So a proof by contradiction means that where we are assuming something or the opposite of what we're supposed to prove. So we're supposed to prove it's not regular, but we're going to assume it's regular. So our step 3 is that we assume it's regular. This is what you're going to write in the proof. That your proof should be structured in this way, that you try to make the DFA, NFA, and then when you were unable to do so, you did a proof by contradiction and you assumed it's regular. So when we assume it's regular, we say that pumping lemma will be proved. When we assume it's regular, we also have the guarantee that pumping lemma will be proved. Then, after that we have done that, we will identify strings in this language. Like, for example, we have in this case, we have 0 and 1n. So strings in this language could be 000, 111. Other strings could be 00, 11. It could be epsilon because n is greater than equals to 0. So these are our strings in our language. Then our step 5 is that we will identify a string S. Identify string S in terms of P. Now what is P? P is the pumping length. The pumping lemma statement, I can take it out from the book, but the pumping lemma statement says that if we have a language A which is regular, it will always have a pumping length P which can be pumped up and down, and it will still remain in that language. What that means is that if I have a string of length P could be anything. P could be 0, P could be 1, P could be 2, P could go to infinity. So if I have any random string in P, and if I pump it up and pump it down, it will remain in that language. So for example, if I use, for example, this string, 0p, 1p, in this case, I can use the string 0p, 1p. I can use 0, 2p, 1, 2p. I can use 0, 5p, 1, 5p. I can use any type of string that I want. And I have now identified string S. This is my S. So for this question, we will be using this S because it is the most simplest one. Now, step 7 says that now that we have identified a string S, we will now break it into X, Y, and Z. To break it into X, Y, and Z, there are 3 properties. The first property states that Y must be greater than equals to 0. And the second property that we have to check is XY should be lesser than equals to P. So our string is assumed in terms of P. Remember, this is our first property, that our string is in terms of P. So now, if we break it, I can say that if I break the second condition says that XY should be within P. So this entire zeros should be within P. So this is my XY. My zeros part is my XY. So I can say that if I take 0 for X and I take another 0 for Y, so these are 2 zeros removed. So I can say P minus 2 and the remaining 1P is all in Z. Now Z can be infinite. We can do however many we want in Z. So now that we have broken down our string, so the step 8 says that we will perform in step 7.
Can you please repeat step 7?
Can I repeat it?
Step 7 जरा आराम आराम से.
Step 7 says that we have to break it into XYZ. So one of the marks that you'll get in pumping lemma is your first mark that you get for proving the second condition. This is the second condition. And the second mark second mark you get for proving the third condition. So how do you prove it? You will show it like this, that second condition says y is greater than equals to 0, no, greater than 0. The length of y is greater than 0. So I will show this by saying that here y is 0. So I can say that its length is 1, which is greater than 0. So I will put a tick and say condition fulfilled. This is the proper way of showing a proof. The second condition says that xy, third condition says xy
कहने
is,
का मतलब ये कि
yes,
यानी कि एप्सिलॉन नहीं होगा,
yes, it cannot be epsilon.
लाइक
Yes. So the third condition says that xy, the length of xy should be lesser than p. So here the xy is 0 and 0. See here x and see here y. So the length of this is 2, which is lesser than equals to p. Because p is clearly here is more than 2 because our p minus 2 we have assumed. Any questions till now? Another
वन
is,
क्वेश्चन इसके अंदर एक्स में जो आपका इसमें जो एक्स में आपका जीरो है, अगर यू चेंज दैट, लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल इफ इट्स एक्स वाला जीरो जीरो टू द पावर p minus 2 and y का is just a plain zero and g का is just a plain zero, like does the order matter?
I'm sorry, I cannot hear you. Your voice is very muffled. Can you say it again? जी अब
हेलो, अब आवाज क्लियर आ रही है?
जी,
या आई वांटेड टू आस्क कि इसमें जो आपका x पे 0 बना हुआ है, could that be 0 to the power p minus 2 and then y could be just a regular 0 and जो z के अंदर 0 है that could also be a regular 0.
yes, we can do that.
बस ठीक हो सर, that's my question. Thank you.
So I'm just going to write down what you said. You said 0 p minus 2, 0, and then 0, 1 p. So that is also correct, that z and y and x. Why is that correct? Because the first condition is fulfilled. Y is greater, the length of y is greater than 0. The second condition, that when we join x, y, its length will be lesser than p, and we can clearly see that its length is p minus 1, which is p. This is even better because here we are assuming a value of p, and here we don't assume any values of p. Another way of proving this could be, another way of splitting this could be, for example, we could do 0 and we could say this is, for example, I. And then not I even. We could even say this is A. And this is 0 and this is 0, P minus A minus 1. So this is also another way of doing it. That even here X has no condition, but A will always be lesser than P because always there is one less. One is already being subtracted from P. So A is always lesser than P. So the joining of A and Y, A and the X and Y will still be lesser than P. So this also works. Any confusion on step 7? Should I move ahead? So step 8 says that now that we are now done with proving the conditions. We are done with proving conditions. Now we will do pump up and pump down. And we will do this, for example, we have I is equals to 0. So if we take our first example that we just made, 0, p minus 2, 0, and then 0, 1 p. So this is x, this is y, this is z. So if we take this example, so if I is equals to 0, that means, please listen carefully, when I is equals to 0 or I is equals to 2, when I is equals to 1, y remains there. But when I is equals to 2, it means that we have removed y completely. So what we are left with is that 0p minus 2, 0, 1p. When we do pumping up and pumping down, it means that we either add copies of y, or we remove copies of y. So now this final string is 0p minus 1, 1p. So now I can see that the number of zeros is not equal to the number of ones. Hence, this string is not in our language. We have
नहीं समझ में आ रहा, नहीं ये स्टेप 8 से समझ में नहीं आ रहा।
Okay, I'll explain again.
या आप जरा ना ऐसा ऐसा अगर समझा दें तो।
जी, मैं ये कहना चाह रही हूँ कि for example we had this, I'll just remove it. So what we did is that our condition of pumping lemma, what it states is x, y, I to the power of y to the power of I, where I is greater than equals to 0. So what this statement means is that what pumping lemma actually is, pumping lemma actually states that जब मैं y को अगर हटा दूं पूरा, तब भी x, z मिलाकर वो जो string बनती है वो लैंग्वेज में रहनी चाहिए। अगर मैं y को डबल कर दूं, सिर्फ y को डबल कर दूं, तो तब भी वो स्ट्रिंग जो पूरी बनेगी, वो पंपिंग लेमा ये कहता है कि जब भी जो पूरी स्ट्रिंग बनेगी वो लैंग्वेज में रहनी चाहिए। दिस इज द प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ अ रेगुलर लैंग्वेज, कि जितनी दफा भी वाइस को ऐड करती जाऊं तो तब भी वो रहना चाहिए। इसका मतलब ये है कि if I have this NFA DFA and I start at this start state, so I have some states which go around and we have some loops, and then it goes here, and it ends at some accepting state. So it says that when you do pumping lemma, this is your starting state, this is X, and this is your accepting state, this is Z. So why, if there must be some way that I can go to X to Z, and there must be some way that if I pass through all these, then I will still enter at Z. If I even double it, I can ring around it and then I double it and I still enter at Z. That means I still enter at my accept state. So here, our first way is x, y को हटा दो. Our first point that we should do is y को हटा दो. y को हटाने का मतलब ये है कि मैं I is equal to 0 कर रही हूँ, जिसका मतलब है pump down. That I am pumping down the number of y's. So when I pump y down, I am left with x, y power 0, z, which means x, z, because y, anything to the power of 0 means it's gone. So it means x, z. Here x was 0p minus 2 and z was 0, 1p. The single 0 that was here, it was not added because y is not being added. So if I simplify this, that I add the number of zeros, so this will be 0p minus 1, 1p. So now my property, my language stated that the number of zeros should equal the number of ones. But here, if for example p is equals to 3, so the number of zeros is 2 and the number of ones is 3. So here we can clearly say that p minus 1 does not equal to p. So our pumping lemma has been disproved. Another way, if you do not get I is equals to 0, we can do I is equals to 2. Why are we not doing I is equals to 1? Otherwise, it will remain the string S. So it's not anything. We're not pumping anything. When we do I is equals to 2, we say x, y squared z, which means that x, y, y, z, that there will be now 2 copies of y. So now that there are 2 copies of y, what we had deduced was 0p minus 2, 0, and then 0, 1p. So now I will say 0p minus 2, this is x, 1y 0, 1y 0, and then z is 0, 1p. So if I simplify this, I can say that 0p minus 2 plus 1, 0, and then also one more, 1p, which simplifies to 0p plus 1, 1p. So now here again, p plus 1 does not equal to p. The number of copies of 0 does not equal to the number of copies of 1. Now, is there any confusion in this? So, what step 9 says is that when you have successfully proved your pumping lemma that it's being pumped up or pumped down, you have to add a last statement that thus that whenever you prove that it's not being in the language, you will always write that hence proved it's not in the language. Hence proved this string is not in the language. And then you can further write that why is it not in the language? Because the number of because the length of 0, because the number of copies of 0 is not equal to 1, of 0 is not equal to the number of copies of 1. Same thing. So when you end, you add that thus we have proved that pumping lemma is not valid. Thus, this language is not regular. Now, is there any confusion in pumping lemma? I have one more question which I can do to further explain it. So I will do that first. So another question that I have is 0i, 1j, 0k, where I is equal to j or j is equals to k. Now, what do we get from this language? We get, if you have any, please do stop me if you have any queries. So if we have this language, what do we say? What strings can we? Our first step was identify if we can make a finite automata for this. So again, this is a counting thing that the number of zeros जितने होंगे उतने ones होने चाहिए या फिर जितने ones हैं उतने zeros होने चाहिए. तो basically अगर ये दोनों बराबर हो या फिर ये दोनों बराबर हो, उनमें से कोई एक बराबर हो, तो ये इसका फाइनल ऑटोमेटा नहीं बन सकता, क्योंकि मुझे क्या पता कि 10 जीरोस पहले आए थे तो क्या 10 वंस आने चाहिए. और मेरा फाइनाइट ऑटोमेटा इतना स्मार्ट नहीं है कि वो गिन सके कि जितने 10 जीरो आए थे अब मैं 10 वन का इंतजार करूं. और अगर एक जीरो आया और फिर 10 वन आ गए तो मैं आगे 10 जीरोस का इंतजार करूं. सो यू डोंट नो व्हाट यू आर वेटिंग फॉर. Counting is another thing. You don't know if the first two are going to be equal or the last two are going to be equal. So to prove this, using pumping lemma, I don't know why it's giving me a notification for a message, so I'm checking it, but there's no message. So to prove this, we will first identify some strings of this language. So we could have 0, 0, 1, 1, 0. So here the first two are equal. Now this is an OR condition. So it means that either the first two are equal or the last two are equal or both are equal, that all three are equal to one another. So it could be 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, or it could be 0, 1, 1, 0, 0. These are just simple ideas of what we could do. So a sample string of S could be 0p, 1p, 0p plus 1. Or it could be 0p plus 1, 1p, 0p. Another string could be 0p, 1p, 0p. This is the easiest. But in this case, if you take, what is the drawback of this string? Now, this is a very complex language that either when you are proving, remember in my class that I took a few weeks ago, I stated that if we have p something, our pumping lemma property tells us that xy should be in its length. So if xy is in this 0p case, that imagine I have this 0 number of p's and I assign x and y to this, then all the changes will be happening here. That if, for example, y is 0 or y is 0p and x is epsilon, anything, I could make any split. So all the changes will be happening in this first part of the string, and this second part of the string will always be in z. So this second part of the string will never change, and this second part of the string meets our property that the second last are equal to one another. P is equals to P. So now if I use this string, so no matter how many times I pump up, pump down, I go to a million pumping up, pumping lemma will never prove wrong. So you should always use a string that if for example you use a string and you are unable to prove that its pumping lemma is failing, please use a second string. Find another string. Find the mistake what you are doing. If you come across a string that is not being proved that pumping lemma is failing, that means that your Z has some letters, some characters in it that just proves the property. You must make sure that the property being proved in is in XY. So that when you alter XY, the string fails. The pumping lemma, it fails. That's what you want to do. You want to fail the pumping lemma. You want to prove that this is not regular. Because logically speaking, you can see that it's not regular. So here I will not use this string. Can I use this string? No. Because here again, if this is Z, here again the property is being proved. So no matter how many times I change this, it will not work. So yes, I will use this string. Because here, if I have just this, the property doesn't prove. So I need to do this property. Is there any confusion on why I am not using the second and third strings and I'm using the first string? Okay, so we have 10 minutes left. I will finish this question. 10 minutes later, you will have to rejoin and then we will start NFA to DFA and then just one question or something of CFGs. Okay, so now let's prove it. So we have this string 0p, 0p, 1p, 0p plus 1. So to break it, I know that this is going to be Z because XY length should be within P. So I will always use this first part. I will always use this first part. So when using the first part, I can say that X is 0, Y is 0p minus 1, and the rest is 1p, 0p plus 1 is Z. Another way to break it could be that 0 of Y, X is epsilon, and the rest is 0, the rest 0p minus 1 and the 1p and the 0p plus 1 all goes to Z. So this could be 0p minus 1, 1p, 0p plus 1 all goes to Z. So we will be using this one. We can use both of them. I can prove using both of them. So let's just do that. So let's, now that we have proved that our first condition says that Y is greater than 0, so we know that 0p minus 1, 0p minus 1 is the length of p minus 1, which is greater than equals to 0, proved. The second property says xy should be lesser than equals to p. So xy is here 0, 0p minus 1. So that length is p, which is lesser than equals to p, proved. And in this case, here y is greater than equals to 0, y is equals to 0, which is equals to 1. So it's greater than 0. And then xy should be lesser than equals to p, which is just epsilon and 0, which is a length of 1, which is lesser than equals to p. So to pump up, pump down, let's pump up and pump down. If, for example, we do I is equals to 0. So I is equals to 0 means x and z, which means 0, 1p, 0p plus 1. Now here, we don't know what p is going to be, but p is always greater than 0. And p is always greater than 1. So if here p is 1, so this would prove. But if p is 2, then this would fail. Because we don't know if 1 is equals to p. So we can say that 1 does not equal to p. So hence this proved. If, for example, we had this string, we had this, yes. So if we do this one on the left, on the right, I is equals to 0. So now it would be xz, and here x, yes. Now here if we have x and z, so it will be epsilon, meaning nothing, 0p minus 1, 1p, 0p plus 1. So here we can see that p minus 1 does not equal to p, and p does not equal to p plus 1. Hence, disprove that this string is not in the language. Is there any confusion in both of them? If not, that is all for NFA to DFA. I am ending this meeting so that we can start the new meeting. Okay, let's continue. What we're gonna do now is NFA to DFA, and this is one NFA that I found. So the basics of NFA to DFA, there are two ways to do it. I'll just explain both. So I hope they understand. But any of them, you can use either of them. So am I audible? Can everyone see my screen? Okay, great. So, and there are two ways to do an NFA to DFA. So the first way states that we do a power set. This is what our Sir Shai taught us, that a power set basically means a set of all possible sets. So what that means is that, for example, if I have the states A, B, C, sorry, not the states, but just, this is just numbers, A, B, C. Yes, if I have the numbers A, B, C, so one set I can make is just A, one set I can make is just B, one set I can make is just C, another set which I can make is A, comma B, another set I can make is B, comma C, another set I can make is A, comma C, another I can make is A, B, C, and another I can make is none. So this gives me 8 possible sets. So this, what the power set is the power set is this. It is the set of all possible sets. So the set of all possible sets. So what in NFA to DFA, what you can do is the first way to solve an NFA, solve an NFA to DFA is that you make a power set. Is that in the, yes. Does anyone want to speak? Okay. So what you do is you make a power set. Is that you make all, you first write all possible sets that we could come to, and then you make a DFA of that. So if what a power set formula is that if I have 3 variables or 3 sets, then my power set will be 2 power n. So even here in this case, I have 3 sets and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 possible states. So I will say that if this is 2 power 3, so this is 8. If I have 4, it's 2 power 4, which is 16. So what I can do is that if in this case, I am using ABC. So my first state is null. My second state is A. My third state is A, comma B. I'm just writing any random ones. So my fourth state could be A, comma C. Another could be A, comma B, comma C. Another could be B, comma C. B could be here. C could be here. And the last one that is remaining is, oh, all of them are done. So what we're gonna do is that first of all, what is our string? What is our characters? Our characters is 0, 1, and 2. Our sigma is 0, 1, and 2. As we can see from this NFA. So sigma is equals to 0, 1, 2. So first, what my first step will be is that at the null state, I will always have 0, 1, 2. But always, if I reach at the null state, I will stay at the null state. So let's analyze from our first state. Our first state is A. At A, we are also at B. So at A, if I get a 0, I don't go anywhere. So I go at the null state. But there's one thing that I need to remember before doing that is that when I'm at A, I'm also at B. When I'm at A, because there's an epsilon, how do I zoom this? I don't know how to zoom it, but when I'm at A, I'm also at epsilon. So that means that when I'm at A, I'm also at B. So at B, when I get a 0, I go to C. So I say that when I'm at A, I go to C when I get 0. Now, when I'm at A, if I get a 1, I'm not going anywhere. But when I'm at B, if I get a 1, I'm not going anywhere. So I can say that when I get a 1, I go to the null state. And when I am at A, when I get a 2, I don't get anywhere. But when I'm at A, I'm also at B. So when I get a 2, I stay at B. So I can say that when I get a 2, I go to B. So this is just for the state A. Now, coming to A, now let's do state B first. So when I'm at state B, I'm only at state B. This is the first thing. There is no epsilon. So when I'm at B, I'm only at B. So when I'm at B, I get a 0, I go to C. When I'm at B, I get a 1, I don't go anywhere. So I stay at the null state. When I'm at B and I get a 2, I stay at B. Now, for state C, yes, when I'm at state C, if I get a 0, now when I'm at state C, I'm not anywhere, I'm just at state C. So I know that state C is an accepting state, so I will make an accepting state. Now, because I know C is in also with A, so this will also be an accepting state. This will also be an accepting state. Wherever I have C, all of them are accepting states. So when I'm at C, if I get a 0, I go to B. When I'm at C, I get a 1, I go to A. When I'm at C, when I get a 2, I don't go anywhere. So I go at the null state. Now, let's do the joint ones now. Now, when we are at A, we are also at B. So now what you're doing is that all the transitions of A, you get all the transitions of B and you union them. So if I write these down, for example, when I'm at A, 0, 1, 2. When I'm at A, I'm also at B, so I go to the C state. When I'm at A, I'm also at B, and I don't have any transition for 1, so I have a null state. When I'm at A and I get a 2, so I'm also at the B state, I go to the B state. For B, I'm not anywhere, I'm just at B. So when I get 0, I go to the C state. When I get 1, I go to the null state. And when I get 2, so I go to this B state, I remain at the B state. For C, when I get 0, I go to the B state. For when I get 1, I go to the A state. And when I go 2, I'm just at the null state. I don't go anywhere. So there's no transition for this. So whichever things that don't have a transition, you throw them at the null state. So now what we will do is that our first transition is A, comma B. So what you will do is you will look at A and B and you will combine them. So you see that A and B is C. So you see that C union C is equals to C. So I will not write this entire thing. You have to just think of it that if C is A is C and B is C, so the union will be C. Now when I'm at A and when I'm at B and I get a 1, so I can see here that when I'm standing at A and I get a 1, I go to null state. When I'm standing at B and I get a 1, I go to null state. So I will go to null state. When I get 2, I see that both of them are B, so I will write B. Now my next one is, now I'm just going to draw these states that when I'm at A, comma B and I get 0, I go to, when I get 0, I go to the C state. And when I'm at A, comma B and I get a 2, I go to the B state. And when I'm at A, comma B and I get a 1, I go to the null state. So next, A, comma C. Now, easy thing. When you are at A, comma C, just look at A, comma C. Just look at these blue ones. So A, comma C. Anyone can guess?
C.
So when I'm at A, comma C, I would go to B, comma C. Because if this is B and this is C. So I would go to the joint state of B, comma C. Now for A, comma C, when I had 1, I will go to A and null. So the union of A and null is just A. Now for A, comma C, here again I have B and null. So the union of B, comma null is just B. So here we can make it that if I'm at A, comma C, imagine you are standing here, you are standing here, and you are standing here. So when you get when you get 1 at A, you don't go anywhere, but you are also at B. So imagine you are standing at all three. So when you get zero, for example, let's start with zero. So when you get zero at A, you get zero at C. And when at C, when you get zero, you go to B. So you go to BC. So our BC from our AC state goes to BC. Then when I get a 1 at A, I'm at null. But when I get a 1 at C, I'm at A. So I can say that I go to the A state. And when I get a 2 at A, I'm at B. And when I get a 2 at C, I'm at null. So I can say that I go to the B state. Sorry, not B, 2. Next, B comma C. So B comma C, now we're looking at these both. So these both say that if I'm at BC, so my at 0, I would be at BC. These two. When I'm at BC and I get a 1, then I would be at A. And when I'm at BC and I get a 2, I would be at B. So let's just draw this, that when you're at B comma C, I'll use a different color. When I'm at B comma C, so here, imagine now that this, yes, this. So now we're at these both yellow ones. So when I'm at BC and I get a 1, at B it was just, when I'm at 0, sorry, BC and I get a 0. So at B when I get a 0, I go to C. But at C when I get a 0, I just go to 0. So I would just remain at the same state. B comma C, I remain at the same state at 0. Let's see here, we just wrote it here, that when we get BC, we stay at BC. Now, when I'm at BC and I get a 1, at B, I am just terminating it. At C, I go to A. So I say that when I'm at BC and I get a 1, I go to A. And when I'm at, my start state is A, so here I will make my start state. So when I'm at BC and I get a 2, so when I'm at B, I go to B. And when I'm at C, I go to null. So I can say that this is my BC. Now, next. Now, our last one will be, see, we have done 3, 4, 5, 6 states. The 7th state is the null state. We don't have to do it. But for, even if you want to do it, you can just write null, null, null. So the last one is A, B, C. So now we are imagining that we are at all 3. So now what you will do is that this blue line, you are just writing the union of all these 3. So if we look at this, so the union of this is B comma C. The union of this is A, and the union of this is B. So if we draw this, that when we are at A comma B comma C, we see that if we get a 0, so at A we don't have anything. At B, when we get a 0, we go to C. At C, when we get a 0, we go to BC. So I can say that when I get a 0, I go to BC. Now for 1, at A, I don't go anywhere. At B, I don't go anywhere. At C, I go to A. So I can say that I go to A. Now the last one, 2. At A, I don't go anywhere. At B, I remain at 2. At C, I don't go anywhere. So I can say that I go to C. Now this is your finalized GFA. This is one way to do it. The other way is there any confusion in type 1, the power set way? This is more complex, but this is the full way of doing it, or how to convert an NFA to a DFA. The second way states that what you do is that you start making your table from A. That you get the start state. The A is the start state. Can the DFA we obtain be simplified further? Yes, it can be further simplified. That I didn't say it because it would have been more confusing, but just to explain it. So what you do is that you remove all the states which cannot be approached. Now, how do you identify this? If you had made the table with me, you could see that for example, in this entire table, we see that A is approached here. We see, so A is cut. A can be approached. We see that B is approached here, so we can say that B is approached. We see that C is approached here, we can see that C is approached. Is A comma B approached to anyone? No. We cannot see A comma B come anywhere. We cannot see any transition that brings us to the A comma B state. So we will not write the A comma B state. The A comma C state, do we see any transition that brings us to A comma C? No. Do we see any transition that comes us to B comma C? Yes. So we can see that B comma C does come. Do we see any transition that brings us to the null state? Yes. We can name the null state the trap state even. Null is equals to trap. So do we see any transition that brings us to A comma B comma C? No. So what we will even see here in this figure, what you can see here is that A comma B here, you can see that there is no arrow pointing towards it. There is no arrow coming towards it. So we will remove this state. This is a very final step that you can take if you have time, that you can remove the excess states, but it is not necessary. You will still be marked correct if you do not remove them. So see here, A comma B can be removed. Now if we look at A comma C, we have looked at the null set, it is correct. We have looked at A, we have here, see here, we have incoming arrows. So we will say that yes, A can be written. For the null state, we can see that yes, incoming arrows. So yes, we can write it. For A comma C, do we see any coming arrows? No, there are no coming arrows. So I can say that this is also removed. Now for A comma B comma C, do we see any incoming arrows? No. So we can remove this. The blue ones are to be removed. For B comma C, do we see any incoming arrows? Yes. Here is the incoming arrows. Here is the incoming arrows. So we can see that this is all incoming arrows. For C, can we see any incoming arrows? Yes. For B, can we see any incoming arrows? Yes. So the pink ones will stay, but the blue ones will be removed. So the second way is that you start with your start state, is that you make a table and you write your characters and you start with the start state. So the start state says that when we are at A, I have a chart. All right. Okay. So when we are, the second way is that when we are at A, we are also at B. We have understood this, that when we are A, we are also at B. So when we are at A and we get a 0, we go to the state C. Because at A, we are not going anywhere, but at B, we are going to the state 0. At A, when we are at B as well and we get 1, so we don't go anywhere, we go to the null state. And at A, when we get 2, we go to B. So now what we will do is that we will take the first state here and we will write it here. And now we will configure this. So at C, when I get a 0, I go to B. At C, when I get a 1, I go to A. At C, when I get a 2, I don't go anywhere. Now what I will do is now I will get this second state and I will write it here. So the null state is pink here. We've already done this. And the blue state, none of them more. So now what we will do is that now we will configure the null state. The null state is always null, null, and null. So here we are done with the pink ones. We just have to make sure that the entire table is done. So now what we will do is I will change the color to yellow. So now what we will do is now we will do the third one. And we will write the third one here. So now we will do B. Now when at B, if I get a 0, I go to C. At B, when I get a 1, I go to the null state. And at B, when I get a 2, I remain at B. So I can say that this B is done. This B is done. Now when I get a C here again, this is done. And when I get a null state, this is also done. And this A is also done. Did I forget something? Okay, that is all. One more thing that I forgot to state in when we were removing states is that in this B comma C state, we have 3 minutes left. So in this B comma C state, see here that we are at B comma C, if we look at the incoming arrows, just look at the 3 pink incoming arrows. So the first incoming arrow is orange, A comma B comma C, which is removed. So we imagine that this incoming arrow is no longer there. The second incoming arrow is red, which comes from A comma C. It is also removed. So this second incoming arrow is also not there. And the third incoming arrow is a recursive arrow. So recursive arrow is not an incoming arrow from anything else. So we can say that B comma C cannot be approached from any other state. So this B comma C can also be removed. So the only states that remain is A, C, null, and B. So if we draw this, we can draw this easily that this is our A state. At A, when we get, we will first draw 4 states. We have C, we have null, and we have B. So at A, when I get a 0, I go to C. At A, when I get a 1, I go to null. At A, when I get a 2, I go to B. At C, when I get a 0, I go to B. At C, C is also the accepting state. At C, when I get a 1, I go to A. And at C, when I get a 2, I go to null. At null, I just remain here, 0, 1, 2. And at B, when I get a 0, I go to C. At B, when I get a 1, I go to null. And at B, when I get a 2, I remain here. So this is my finalized DF. Did I miss a question? AC isn't being accessed either, but it approaches BC, so shouldn't both of them be removed? A comma C, yes, it is being removed because it has no incoming arrows and it approaches BC, so yes, it should be removed. Yes, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. BC should be removed. Is that clear? Because the meeting is about to end. I will start a third meeting to just do one question on CFGs because we don't have much time for CFGs left. So I will just do one question on CFGs. I hope that will be possible. Is there any confusion on NFA to DFA? Personally, I was taught the type 1 method, but the type 2 method is very, very easy. So, and it is very simplified even. So you should go with type 2 in the exam, but if you have time, go for type 1. It is also not bad. I am ending the meeting. I will start a new meeting for CFGs. Is there any problem or query in pumping lemma or NFA to DFA? Please let me know. None so far. Okay, I'm glad. Thank you. I will end this meeting and then I will share a third one and we can just do one question on CFGs. It will just be of 15-20 minutes. I will not keep it longer.
Very great if the videos tonight. आज ही अगर आप ये अपलोड कर दे क्योंकि जो दूसरी मतलब ये सेकंड मीटिंग थी ना मैं अटेंड ना कर सका ड्यू टू लेगिंग.
जी जी मैं अभी आज रात ही इंशाल्लाह अपलोड कर दूंगी. Okay, let's just finish this by doing a quick revision on CFGs. Okay, so CFGs begins when regular languages ends. So basically what that means is that if we have this entire set of regular languages, then CFGs is a bigger set. This means that whatever language we find that is not regular, we can use a bigger set of it by doing CFGs. This means that, for example, remember in pumping lemma, like when we started this course, we started first studying on regular languages and how every regular language had a finite automata. This finite automata could be a DFA or it could be an NFA. But then we came across some languages which were not regular. So how to identify them? We identified them by proving them using pumping lemma. But what if we come across, we need to find some way to make these non-regular languages. So this non-regular language, these types of small type of non-regular languages can be proved by CFGs. We can make a context-free grammar for them. CFGs means context-free grammar. Now, a context-free grammar means is that one pattern keeps repeating. Basically what it means is that if I have something and I just add it continuously, it's recursively adding inside it, so it just means its pattern is repeating. So there is a wider, bigger subset of, if, for example, when CFGs, this is just regular languages, and then this is CFGs. So when CFGs fails, there are more bigger subsets like Turing machines. So Turing machines is the most powerful. And then there's another world. This is our box. of sets, and this is epsilon. So this entire world, there are more languages which have not even been derived yet. So what do context-free grammars look like? Context-free grammars are something like, for example, if I have A and I have something like SAS, and SAS could be epsilon and S could be 0 or 1. So what this basically means is that if you are given something like this, so what it means is that if I start with A, I start with A. So I can replace A with either epsilon or SAS. So I can either replace A with either epsilon or SAS. S is another way to go further. So for example, I replace A with SAS. Now these are three variables. Now I can either replace S with 0 or 1. I can replace A with SAS again or epsilon. And I can replace A with 0, 1. So one of the strings in this language could be 1010, because if I replace it, all these strings, no, 101 will not be there. Sorry, 1001. So one thing that we need to note is that all the strings in this language will be even. Why? Because if I start with A and I replace with SAS, and then I replace again with SAS, I replace this A, and then I replace it again SAS. So if I remove A, I can only remove it by epsilon. So these S's will always be even. However many S's on the left will be however many on the right. And if I add both of them, it's basically doubling the number of S's on the left. So that means that the language is of all even strings. And these strings could be of any composition because S can be either 0 or 1. So it's basically, if I name this language that I just randomly made, this language is of all even strings. Is there any confusion on how we are using CFGs? Right now, I'm not teaching how to make them. Right now, I'm just teaching you how to use them and how we basically just identified this random language and what CFGs are. So I can continue further. If there's any questions, feel free to stop me. Let's do one question first. So one of the questions that I have here are a CFG that starts and ends with the same symbol. So what does that mean? Well, let's first, for example, let's just derive some strings in this. That if I have, for example, the string 0, it starts with 0 and it ends with 0. So this could work. If I have 1, it starts with 1 and it ends with 1. Could there be epsilon? No, because it does not start with any symbol. So epsilon cannot be there. Can I have 0, 0? Yes, it starts with 0, ends with 1, 0. Can I have 0, 1, 0? Yes, starts with 0, ends with 1, ends with 0. Can I have triple 1? Yes. Can I have 4 ones? Yes. I can have any random composition of strings, but the only check I need to apply is that the first letter should be as same as the second letter. So first of all, can I make is this a regular language? Yes. Why? Because I can make a finite automata for this. That if I start with the start state and I get a 0, yes. If I get a 0, I can get however many 0, 1s. And if I get another 0, this is my ending state. Does this work? Yes. Yes, we can add another state here.
You can
Yes.
either use 0, 1.
Sorry.
यानी कि आप 0, 1 भी तो कर सकती हो 0 की बजाय.
0, 1 शुरू में आ जाए. आप यहाँ पर कह रहे हैं.
हाँ, यहाँ पे ऐसा ही समझे आप. लेकिन फिर उसमें ये होगा ना कि आप जो लूप चला रही हो 0, 1, वो नहीं होगा फिर।
हाँ मसला ये
मतलब 0,1 और 0,1 डायरेक्ट ऐसे
ये
नहीं हो सकता।
सॉरी मैं आपकी बात समझी नहीं। आप ये पहले अगर मैं Q1 रख रही हूँ, ये Q2 रख रही हूँ, ये Q3 रख रही हूँ, तो आप कहाँ कह रहे हैं कि मुझे 0,1 लगाना चाहिए? हाँ,
यानी कि Q1 to Q2 0,1, ठीक है।
जी।
फिर
मसला ये अगर मैं Q1 to Q2 0,1 रखूंगी तो मैं ये ट्रैक नहीं रख सकूंगी क्योंकि मेरे पास शुरू में जीरो आया था ये।
और Q2 से Q3 भी 0,1।
जी आपकी बात बिल्कुल सही है। बट इसमें मसला ये है मैं इसमें ये ट्रैक नहीं रख सकूंगी कि मेरे पास शुरू में 1 आया था या शुरू में जीरो आया था। तो मैं ये कर सकती हूँ कि मैंने कहा अगर जीरो आया तो मैं इंतजार करूंगी, इंतजार करूंगी जितने भी आ जाए, और जैसे ही जीरो आ जाए मैं एक्सेप्ट कर दूँ। अब क्योंकि ये NFA है तो इसका मैं दूसरा बना सकती हूँ। लाइक ये तो सिर्फ जीरो का केस हुआ ना। अगर ये 1 आया तो मैं इसी तरह से अगर जितने भी जीरोस कॉमा वंस है और अगर 1 एक और आ गया तो मैं इसको एक्सेप्ट कर दूँ। तो इसमें यह है कि why did I add this weird zero? It was because to entertain the case of single zero. That if I just get a zero, it will remain at the accepting state. But if I get anything else, it will die out. It will start here. So same here. If I get a 1 here, so I can also add a 1 here. So this I can make this is a regular language. But what we studied at the start is that CFGs के अंदर रेगुलर लैंग्वेजेस है, तो हर रेगुलर लैंग्वेज का CFG जरूर होगा। तो ये जो एग्जांपल मैंने लिए ये एक रेगुलर लैंग्वेज है और इसका एक CFG भी होगा। अब वो CFG हम कैसे बनाएंगे ये हम अभी क्लास में करेंगे कि CFG इसका किस तरह से बनेगा। कि मैंने कहा मैंने एक स्टेट I started at a state, and now what I want to do is that either my string will end in zeros or my string will end in ones. So I only if my sigma is of 0,1, so I only have one possibility कि मेरे जो इसकी रेगुलर एक्सप्रेशन बनेगी वो यही बनेगी कि 0 सिग्मा स्टार 0 यूनियन 1 सिग्मा स्टार 1। कि आइदर मेरी स्ट्रिंग्स 0 से स्टार्ट करेगी 0 से एंड करेगी या मेरी स्ट्रिंग्स 1 से स्टार्ट करेगी या 1 से एंड करेगी। इनमें से दोनों नहीं हो सकते, इनमें से कोई एक होगा। तो मैंने कहा आइदर कोई स्टेट नाम रख देती हूँ बी, either it goes in the B category or either it goes in the C category. Sorry, 1C1. But wait, I also have union. My regular language is incomplete. It can also be 0. It can also be 1. So to cater this, I can either add A as 1 or A as 0. Is that clear? That this is in our regular language. Why did I make this regular language first? To identify the types of strings. तो स्ट्रिंग्स टाइप्स को आइडेंटिफाई करते हुए मुझे ये पता चला कि मेरे पास 4 टाइप्स हैं। ये पहला टाइप है, ये दूसरा टाइप है, ये तीसरा टाइप है और ये चौथा टाइप है। तो ये जो चारों टाइप्स थे मैंने CFG में डिफाइन कर दिए। अब जब मैंने ये डिफाइन कर दिए तो अब मैं पहले टाइप को डिफाइन करूंगी। पहला टाइप ये कहता है कि जितने भी 20 की जगह पर जितने भी zeros ones आ जाए इट्स सिग्मा स्टार। So what I can do is that either I do 0 B 0, no sorry, B B B, I can just add another, I can add double B or I can add epsilon or I can add 0 or I can add 1. What this means is that for example if I use this first type, so I say that I started with A, I replaced it with 0 B 0 and then B की जगह पर मैंने डबल B डाल दिया, B की जगह पर मैंने और B's डाल दिया। अब मैं इन B की जगहों पर कोई भी 0 डाल सकती हूँ, कोई भी 1 डाल सकती हूँ या इन B को पूरा हटा भी सकती हूँ। मुझे बस जरूरी था कि सिर्फ ये zeros आ जाए जो मुझे मिल गए। अब बीच में कुछ भी दुनिया भर जहां का आ जाए मुझे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता। अब सेकंड टाइप के लिए सेम टू सेम, क्या इधर CC हो जाए या एप्सिलॉन हो जाए या 0 हो जाए या 1 हो जाए। अब इस चीज को मैं लिखूंगी कैसे, दैट माय फाइनल आंसर इज A 0 B 0 1 C 1 0 1 B goes to B B epsilon 0 or 1 C goes to CC epsilon 0 और 1। अब ये देखिए, ये कंप्लीट CFG है। इसको मैं एक अच्छे साफ सुथरे अंदाज में भी लिख सकती हूँ कि मैंने ये कहा कि C और B तो बिल्कुल सेम है, देखा जाए तो बिल्कुल सेम है, तो मैं इसको एक ही बना सकती हूँ कि मैंने कहा A goes to either 0B0 और 1B1 and to 0 and to 1, and B is basically BB epsilon 0 or 1. So it proves the same thing. If I test it, then I start from A and I go to 0B0, and I can write 0BBB0, and then I can add millions of B's and I can replace those B's with zeros and ones. And if I use the second type, I can go from A and it goes from 1B1, and I can just do 1BB1, and I can add millions of B's in it, and I can add whatever zeros and ones in it. I have a message. Is the BB condition necessary? Well, because if मैं अगर for example यहाँ पर BB की बजाय मैं सिर्फ B लिख दूँ, तो दैट डजंट मेक अ डिफरेंस, इसको लिखने का कोई फायदा नहीं है। लेकिन मैंने BB क्यों कर रही हूँ मैं? क्योंकि मुझे सिग्मा स्टार की कंडीशन पूरी करनी है। Why not an epsilon on A? So if yes, you can add an epsilon, but in the same way, आप जब A की जगह पर जब आप epsilon, अगर B की जगह पे epsilon डाल दो, it means the same thing. Epsilon अगर मैं A रखूंगी तो then it would accept epsilon, जबकि इस लैंग्वेज में ऊपर हमने अभी यही बात की थी कि एप्सिलॉन एक्सेप्ट नहीं होगा क्योंकि एप्सिलॉन में कोई सिंबल नहीं है, और मेरी रिक्वायरमेंट ये है कि सिंबल एक ना एक तो होनी चाहिए, और ऐसी होनी चाहिए जो स्टार्ट भी करे और एंड भी करे। तो इसलिए हमने ये कहा था कि 0 एक्सेप्ट हो सकता है, 1 एक्सेप्ट हो सकता है, मगर एप्सिलॉन नहीं हो सकता। तो मैं ए में एप्सिलॉन इसीलिए नहीं लगा रही क्योंकि मुझे एम्प्टी स्ट्रिंग्स नहीं चाहिए। बी की कंडीशन मैंने इसलिए लगाई क्योंकि मुझे सिग्मा स्टार की फैसिलिटी पूरी करनी है। आप ट्रिपल बी भी लगा सकते हो, आप कुछ भी लगा सकते हो, क्योंकि एप्सिलॉन उस बीस को हटा देगा जो एक्स्ट्रा लग जाएंगे। डबल बी इज द बेस्ट, तो मतलब एक एक करके लगता जा रहा है। अब इस चीज को मैं और भी सिंप्लीफाई कर सकती हूँ, मतलब और भी साफ सुथरा कर सकती हूँ इस सेंस में कि मैंने कहा 0,1 को सी से रिप्लेस कर दूं। तो मैंने कहा आइदर ए जाए 0B0 पर, या फिर जाए 1B1 पर, या फिर जाए सी पर। बी जाए BB पर, एप्सिलॉन पर या सी पर, और सी जाए 0 या 1 पर। अभी आप चॉम्स्की नॉर्मल फॉर्म में यही पढ़ोगे कि अगर कोई वेरिएबल है जो लेफ्ट साइड पे है, वो राइट साइड के किसी वेरिएबल पर जा रही है, तो वो सिर्फ सिंगल वेरिएबल पे, सिंगल कैरेक्टर पे जाए या फिर डबल कैरेक्टर्स पे जाए। तो ये चीज मैं इस तरह से भी कर सकती हूँ। इट मीन्स द सेम थिंग कि अगर मैं ए पर हूँ और मैं 0B0 पर जाऊं, तो मैं यहाँ और 0 डबल बीज लगा दूं, और इन हर बी को मैं एक सी से रिप्लेस कर सकती हूँ, या फिर मैं उस बी को हटा भी सकती हूँ। इस क्वेश्चन में कोई सवाल? ये तीनों तरह से जैसे मैंने लिखा है, एक डार्क ब्लू में, ये ब्लू है, ये जो ये रेड है, और ये जो ये ग्रीन है, ये तीनों तरीके बिल्कुल सही है। आपकी मर्जी है, आप इन तीनों तरीके में आप फिर भी करेक्ट हो गए, लेकिन मैं इसे आपको बेहतर से बेहतर बनाने का तरीका समझा रही हूँ। अब मैं एक और सवाल करना चाहती हूँ। वी हैव 10 मिनट्स, आई एम गोइंग टू रैप इट अप क्विकली। बस फिर ट्यूटोरियल खत्म, फिर कोई सवाल हो तो फिर यू कैन ऑलवेज व्हाट्सएप मी। सो व्हाट आई हैव अनदर क्वेश्चन इज दैट लेंथ इज ऑड। सो strings in this language, strings can be 0, strings can be 1, strings can be 000, strings can be 111, strings can be 010, and so on. Is this a regular language? Yes. We can make a finite automata for this. That if I start at a state, I just have to wait for that first comma 0,1, and that is accepted. And whatever, how many I get 0,1s, I can just loop it around. कि जितने भी, this is a DFA, कि जितने भी 0 1s आते जाए, वो गिनता जाएगा कि भाई ऑड है या इवन है, तो लेंथ ऑड इवन का वो पर्पस रख सके। तो हर रेगुलर लैंग्वेज का एक CFG होता है। अब हम इसका CFG बनाएंगे कि मैंने कहा मैंने A से स्टार्ट किया, और मैंने कहा आइदर 0 या 1 तो आना चाहिए। अब उस 0 या 1 में कुछ भी हो सकता है, तो मैंने कहा आइदर आई कुड जस्ट मेक दिस अ सिंगल लैंग्वेज। वेट, so why did I do AB? Is that this A could be replaced with 0 or 1. It has to be replaced with something. It cannot be epsilon. Now this B can be epsilon, or this B can be double A. So wait, yes. Take this and keep the property. Sorry, 1 second. I have this CFG made. I will just open that up. यस, तो मैंने कहा कि क्या बोलते हैं, ए जो है वो आइदर 0 या 1 हो सकता है, क्योंकि मुझे ये वाली प्रॉपर्टी फुलफिल करनी है। अब अगर मैं इसका रेगुलर एक्सप्रेशन बनाती हूँ, इफ आई मेक दिस रेगुलर एक्सप्रेशन, सो द रेगुलर एक्सप्रेशन वुड बी 0 and then would be sorry, it would be any 0 union 1, it could be anything, and then 0 union 1, 0 union 1 whole sigma star, which basically means sigma and then sigma sigma star. That एक सिग्मा तो आना जरूरी है, उसके बाद जितने भी आए वो पेयर्स में आए, ताकि वो ऑड ही रहे। तो मैंने कहा कि अगर मैं कर रही हूँ तो ए तो होना ही चाहिए, क्योंकि अगर सिग्मा सिग्मा स्टार जो है ये वाली जो है, ये अगर ये एप्सिलॉन हो जाए तो सिग्मा तो होना चाहिए। तो मैंने कहा 0 यूनियन 0 या 1 होगा, ए जा सकता है उस पर। एंड देन फिर मैंने कहा कि अगर मेरे पास है कोई भी मुझे बीच में और जितने भी डालने हैं, तो मुझे हमेशा पेयर्स में ऐड करते जाना है। हमेशा जब भी वो ऐड हो उसमें, तो वो पेयर्स में ऐड हो। तो मैंने कहा अगर ऐड हो रहा है, तो मैंने कहा इधर सी, मैंने यहाँ पे एक सी बना दिया जो है 0, 1। तो मैंने कहा ये 0, 1 भी मैं हटा सकती हूँ, मैं सिर्फ सी लिख दूँ। तो मैंने कहा जब भी ये हो सी, अगर ए है तो वो इधर 0 या 1 हो जाए, या फिर सीज ऐड होते जाए। अब दैट मीन्स दैट बी के अंदर क्या है, ई के अंदर आइदर मैं यहाँ पर वापस जा सकती हूँ ए पर, या फिर मैं सी पर जा सकती हूँ। अब इसका मतलब क्या है, मैंने एप्सिलॉन क्यों नहीं डाला? मैंने एप्सिलॉन इसलिए नहीं डाला क्योंकि मैं इनमें से किसी एक को भी हटाना नहीं चाहती। अगर मैं किसी एक को भी हटाऊंगी तो फिर इवन ऑड की मेरे पास कंडीशन फुलफिल नहीं होगी। तो जब भी ऐड होगा तो वो दो दो करके ऐड होगा, और उन दोनों में से कोई भी रिमूव नहीं हो सकता। ये सबसे पहली बात। दूसरी बात ये कि ए के अंदर आई हैव 6 मिनट्स लेफ्ट, यस, तो ए के अंदर मैंने कहा आइदर मैं 0 या 1 पे जाऊं, या फिर मैं दो 0 या 1 को ऐड कर दूं। अब बी ये कहता है कि आइदर आप ए बी की जगह पर कुछ भी डाल दो, या फिर आप सी की जगह पर सी, या फिर आप बी की जगह पर और ऐड कर दो। जैसे मेरा मतलब ये है कि जैसे मैंने कहा ए पर हूं और मुझे स्ट्रिंग बनानी है 0, तो मैंने कहा डायरेक्ट 0 पे चली गई। अब जैसे मैंने कहा मुझे दूसरी स्ट्रिंग बनानी है 101, बननी चाहिए, तो मैंने कहा ए से मैं गई सी बी सी पर, और मैंने सी बी सी में मैंने सी की जगह पे डाल दिया 0, सी की जगह पे डाल दिया 1, और बी की जगह पे फिर से सी डाल दिया, सॉरी सी की जगह पे 1 डाला, और बी की जगह पे फिर से सी डाल दिया, और फिर मैंने सी की जगह पर 0 डाल दिया। अब इसी लिहाज से अगर ये मेरी ये मेरी लेंथ है 1, ये मेरी लेंथ है 3, ए से स्टार्ट किया सी बी सी पर हो गया, तो फिर मैंने कहा मुझे और भी बड़ा करना है, तो मैंने बी की जगह पर फिर से ए डाल दिया, और अब मैं ए की जगह पर कुछ भी डाल सकती हूँ, मैंने फिर से डाल दिया सी सी बी सी सी। अब देखिए ये 5 की लेंथ हो गई, इनमें से कुछ भी रिमूव नहीं हो सकता, 5 की लेंथ हो गई है। अब मैं आराम से इसको कर सकती हूँ 5 × 25, और मैं इन पर कुछ भी डाल सकती हूँ। दिस इज बेसिकली सिग्मा 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 सिग्मा। इज देयर एनी कंफ्यूजन इन दिस? हाउ डिड आई कम अप विद इट? हाउ आई केम अप विद इट इज दैट फर्स्ट मैंने अपनी वो जो पहली रेगुलर एक्सप्रेशन की कंडीशन है उसे फुलफिल करी, और दूसरी बात मैंने यही कही कि मुझे जब भी ऐड करना हो तो मुझे दो दो एक साथ ऐड करना हो। ठीक है। अब मैंने कहा कि अब जब बी आए तो बी की मैंने ये सोच के मैंने कहा कि आइदर बी की जगह पर मैं यही सी डाल दूं, या फिर मैं बी को और बढ़ा दूं ताकि मेरी ऑड्स में ऐड होती जाए। तो दिस इज अ रिकर्सिव रिलेशनशिप। नाउ देयर इज ओनली 4 मिनट्स लेफ्ट। इज देयर एनी कंफ्यूजन नाउ in CFGs? Is there any questions so that we may end? Uh, I'm here for the next 4 minutes. So if you have any questions, please do let me know. Was this entire 1.5 hour tutorial explanatory enough? Can you give a very brief summary of the odd length question? Yes. A brief summary would be is that when you start with your question, सही है, इसका मैं उर्दू बोल देती हूँ अगर वो ज्यादा समझ आ रहा है. रेगुलर एक्सप्रेशन से शुरू, रेगुलर जब आप अपनी लैंग्वेज से शुरू करो, सही है, सबसे पहले इसका रेगुलर लैंग्वेज की कोशिश करो बन जाए. जैसे ही बन जाता है आपके दिमाग में और क्लियर कट बन जाता है आइडिया कि CFG कैसे बनाना है. ठीक है. अब जैसे ही आपके पास एक अगर रेगुलर एक्सप्रेशन बन जाती है बहुत अच्छा, अगर नहीं बनती इट्स फाइन. अगर उससे आपसे रेगुलर एक्सप्रेशन बन जाती है, लाइक अगर DFA NFA भी नहीं बन पा रहा, रेगुलर एक्सप्रेशन बन गई, दैट्स इवन बेटर. बट अगर नहीं बन पा रही इट्स फाइन. लेट्स थिंक दैट हमें शुरू करना ऐसे है कि हमें एक ऑड लेंथ होना चाहिए. तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी आर केटरिंग टू द वेरी स्मॉल केसेस. अब जैसे जैसे ये एक सिंगल केस है ना कि इसकी लेंथ 1 हो जाए. अब जो लेंथ 3 है, लेंथ 5 है, ये तो मैं सिग्मा स्टार से केटर कर सकती हूँ, बट जैसे लेंथ 1 है उसको मैं नहीं केटर कर पाती. तो मैं उसको सबसे पहले केटर करूंगी कि यहाँ पर मैंने C लिख दिया, मतलब मैंने इसको केटर कर दिया. ठीक है. अब मैंने कहा कि अब मुझे ऐसा वो बनाना है आने जाने की चीज कि जिसमें हमेशा सीज डबल होते जाए, कि मतलब वो हमेशा सिंगल ऐड नहीं हो जाते. हमने पिछले क्वेश्चन में हमने बी कर दिया, और बी में भी हमने रखा था कि बी एप्सिलॉन पे जा सकता है. तो भाई अगर आपने बी ऐड भी कर दिया तो आप पीछे जाके बी हटा दो और आप बी ऐड करो एक एक करके. लेकिन इसमें हमें इसमें हमें लेटर्स को एक एक करके ऐड नहीं करना. इसमें हमें लेटर्स को दो दो करके ऐड करना है ताकि हमारी ऑड इवन की प्रॉपर्टी पूरी रहे. तो इसमें जब मैंने लेटर ऐड किया सी का, तो मैंने सी का जब लेटर ऐड किया तो मैंने कहा सी जब मैं ऐड कर रही हूँ ए के साथ, ये जो स्ट्रिंग बनी है, तो मैं कह रही हूँ कि वो सी हटना भी नहीं चाहिए, मतलब एप्सिलॉन तो होना ही नहीं चाहिए कि वो हटे और इवन ऑड की प्रॉपर्टी खत्म हो जाए. तो व्हाई डिड आई ऐड सी? सो दैट इट्स जस्ट मोर सिंपलर कि 0,1 मुझे हर जगह लिखना ना पड़े. तो ये जो सी है 0,1 इट्स बेसिकली. Could it have been CCB? Yes, could have been CCB. It could have been BCC. CBC just looks symmetrical, appealing. जो आपको सही लगे आप कर सकते थे. एंड बी में ये मैंने इसलिए प्रॉपर्टी रखी है कि बी की जगह पर आप कोई भी लेटर डाल दो, लेकिन बी की जगह पर अगर मुझे लेंथ को बढ़ाना हुआ तो मैं ये भी कर सकती थी. आई कुड हैव आल्सो डन CBC. Yes, I could have done CBC as well. So this, if I go from A, I go from CBC, and then B की जगह पर मैंने एक और CBC डाल दिया, and then फिर एक और CCC डाल दिया. समझ आ रहा है? It is not necessary कि आप A करो, आप डायरेक्ट CBC कर सकते थे. बट मैंने इसलिए CBC करा क्योंकि CBC A में ऑलरेडी डिफाइंड था, तो थोड़ा सिंपलिस्टिक बनाने के लिए. अब सिर्फ 30 सेकंड बाकी है, कोई सवाल और तो मैं मीटिंग एंड करूँ. Can also just be C as well, right? Yes, C as well. तो ये रहा. हाँ मतलब मैं B की जगह पर C भी खाली डाल सकती थी. 8 सेकंड रह गए. अल्लाह हाफिज. कोई और सवाल हो तो फिर मुझसे पूछ लीजिएगा.